Hoi Ronnie, alles goed?
Hey, hallo, hoe is het?
Met mij goed.
Lang geleden zeg.
Heel lang geleden, ja.
Ja, maar je bent wel bezig met mijn collega's.
Ja, die zijn vooral bezig met ons, ja. Ja,
Ja, goed zo, wauw. Ik ben
ja,
blij, want er is iets goed uitgekomen van de relatie van GO, Erik Kokke, Bibliotheek,
ja,
Nationale Bibliotheek van Aruba en ACURIL.
ja,
Fantastisch, ik ben heel erg blij.
ja. Ja,
En voor de rest, ja, zeg het maar.
begint wat beweging in te komen eindelijk, hè?
Ja, ja, we zitten in het Caribisch gebied, dus it takes some time.
Ja,
Maar de aanhouder wint.
ja, nee, zeker.
Ja, en je hebt eigenlijk altijd je best gedaan om mee te doen met ACURIL. En, en met je contacten met ons.
Ja,
Ja, en het paid off.
ja, ja. Ja, hij gaat goed. Dat is één voordeel nog van de corona allemaal. Het is allemaal wat makkelijker geworden om online les te geven. En de drempel wat te verlagen. Dus dat is wel... We hebben ook voor het archief bij jullie wat gedaan. En de universiteitsbibliotheek heeft nog wat dingetjes gedaan.
Je bedoelt wat betreft de bibliotheek?
De universiteitsbibliotheek. Die hebben nog een cursus bij ons gedaan, ook 2 mensen daarvan.
Nee, ik weet er niks van. Ik weet wel
Nee,
van Valerie en
ja,
van Giselle weet ik wel. Ze zijn echt bezig met jou en
ja, ja,
ze zijn razend enthousiast.
ja. Ja, die
Dus
heb ik
ik ben heel erg
4
blij
dagen
voor
in de
hen.
klas gehad. Ja.
Sorry?
Die heb ik 4 dagen in de klas gehad, hè? Valerie en
Ja,
Giselle. Ja, die hebben les van mij gehad, ja.
fantastisch. Ik ben heel erg blij, want ja, van mij, ik heb jou uitgenodigd voor ACURIL, dus toentertijd. Dus
Ja,
ik ben heel erg blij voor dan, omdat ik ook de vruchten nu kan zien.
ja,
En daarom, ik zeg, het is een investering, maar dan op een langere termijn. En again, hard work does pay off.
ja,
En je moet in jezelf geloven. En ik vind het zo positief. Ik ben zo
ja.
blij.
Nee, zeker.
Maar ja, zoals je zei, ja, we zitten in het nieuwe normaal, hè?
Ja,
En ja, we moeten ermee leren leven. Dat is niet makkelijk. Want je kunt niet alles live doen. Het blijft gevaarlijk.
ja,
En mijn club ook, Universal Football Toastmasters Club. Ik hoop dat je een keertje met ons mee kan doen. Het is ook virtual.
ja,
Er is
ja,
een andere club in Aruba. Ze doen het wel live, maar het is gevaarlijk. Maar
ja.
ja, het is een beslissing.
Mhm.
Maar als mijn club live gaat, een paar van mijn Toastmasters collega's, ze willen live gaan. Maar ik ga niet live doen, dan wordt het hybrid. Ik blijf gewoon thuis.
Ja,
Ik
maar,
moet elke dag werken, dat is al gevaarlijk genoeg. En dan moet je ook met je hobby, dat is ook gevaarlijk. Dus, maar het blijft een hobby.
ja,
Dus
ja,
ik blijf
zeker.
liever thuis en ja, gevaarlijk bij mijn werk. Maar je kunt er niks doen, want mijn werk moet je gewoon, het is onmogelijk om van mij thuis te werken. Ik werk met publiek.
Ja, nee, dat
Dus
klopt.
ik ga even mijn charger, ik ga daar even zitten.
Ja,
Ja, en gaat met jullie lockdown?
ja, en weer afwachten van de persconferentie morgen. Of er nieuwe maatregelen komen of minder, ik weet het niet. Maar er komen verkiezingen aan, hè? Dus waarschijnlijk wordt het minder
Ja,
maatregelen.
ja, er gaat heel veel dingen gebeuren. Denk ik, met een nieuwe regering. Ja, de economie gaat niet goed, hè? Ja, de vaccinatie is.
Ja,
Eerst zijn ze al begonnen met inenten. Maar ja, het gaat niet echt goed, want veel mensen hebben toch getwijfeld over die vaccin. Dus ik hou mijn hart vast.
Ja, dus even afwachten. Ja.
Ga je die vaccin nemen?
Ja, ik wil weer reizen. Ik wil niet thuis blijven zitten.
Ja, daarom.
Ja. Weet je,
Ja, en ik denk dat, ja,
ik ga ervan uit dat die
ik
goed
denk
gaat.
dat een paar landen en nog meer landen ze gaan een vaccinpaspoort invoeren.
Ja.
Ja, en ik denk Aruba kan het ook doen. En dan, ja, als je het niet hebt, dan kun je niet reizen. Punt uit. As simple as that.
Ja, klopt. Dus ja.
Ja, zodoende. Dus, en hoe laat begint dit? Dit begint over een half uurtje?
Over 40 minuten pas. Dus je kan nog van alles.
Oké, dan ga ik.
3 uur.
Ja, dus ik. Dus over 40 minuten begint het pas?
Ja.
Oké, dan ik kom zo terug.
Ja, is goed. Ja, tot dadelijk.
Ja.
Ja.
Ik zie je zo direct. Dan gaan we verder.
Ja, zeker.
Oké.
Nee,
Tot strakjes. Take care. Stay safe.
nee.
Gretchen, are you there? Try to unmute yourself now.
Yes. Yes, I'm here.
Eric, I believe Gretchen already gave you privileges to be administrator of the page. Were you able, I'm sorry, were you able to access?
Yeah, it's already live. We have 4 people watching at the moment.
Okay.
It's live on Facebook. The link is in the chat.
Could you stop the streaming until we start the assembly?
Yeah, but that's a little bit. I was trying to see if I could pause it, but it was a little bit difficult. So I'm afraid that it stops.
Okay.
Then I get a new link probably if I stop it now.
Okay, no problem. No problem at all.
Comment on it that it starts at 2 p.m. So then.
Yeah, 2 p.m. is Eastern Standard Time. Yeah.
Standard time. Yeah.
But sometimes it gets confusing because of time change.
Yeah. So I put it.
But it's gonna be at 3 p.m. Puerto Rico time. I believe 3 p.m. The same with Aruba, the same with Trinidad.
That as well.
But Bahamas, Jamaica is 2 p.m. Suriname is 4 p.m.
Yeah.
I don't know what time is in your country right now. You're in the Netherlands, right?
Yeah, Netherlands is 7:30 in the evening now.
Oh, so you're gonna finish late.
Yeah.
You're working late.
Yeah, working late today. Yeah.
Okay. We appreciate that a lot. Yeah.
That's fine. With pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I just wanted to test.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Oh, you can hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you well. Yeah.
Excellent. So I'll see you at 2.
Yep, see you
Hear
too.
you at 2. Great. Thank you so much for taking the time, Eric.
Yeah, okay, you're welcome.
Okay.
Sí. No, no, yo no puedo. Lo que me voy a tomar es un café expreso. Hello.
Hello. We can hear you.
Mira, yo voy a ir bajo la puerta, saco los perritos, y me llevan a la puerta.
¿Cómo no? Te llevo. Yo me traje lo, yo me
diga que cuando yo pague la tarjeta de banco, ahora, no te van a ir. Porque el hijo le dio 80,000 pesos a ellos, a que no te porque son empiezan a funcionar bien dinero. Te va a ser seguro de tu vida. Y si tienes que haber una oportunidad
Good afternoon, everyone. We're gonna start the meeting in just 2 more minutes. We're just trying to let everybody who can to get into the meeting. There were some problems with the URL at the start. So in just 2 minutes, we'll start the assembly. Buenas tardes a todos. En cerca de 2 minutos comenzará la reunión, la Asamblea General de ACURIL. Estamos esperando pues que algunos se conecten porque hubo algunos problemas inicialmente con el enlace que se compartió. Así que esperaremos esos minutos y nos conectaremos próximamente.
Bonsoir, bienvenue à l'Assemblée générale. Nous allons commencer avec, dans quelques minutes, il y avait un petit souci avec le premier lien qui avait été envoyé. Donc, nous attendons que tous les participants puissent nous rejoindre. À tout de suite.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the ACURIL General Assembly of the Association of Caribbean University Research and Institutional Libraries. As everyone knows, the world faces its worst challenge in decades, which has forced us to resort to new methods and technologies to communicate. This assembly is no exception, but with the assistance and generosity of our main sponsor, Go Uplay Digital, we will be able to conduct our assembly this year virtually. And that leads us to establish some rules to facilitate everyone's orderly participation. The works of the assembly will be conducted mainly in English. However, the main announcements and interludes between the items in the agenda will be announced in the 3 official languages of the association. In addition, we will have volunteers who will translate any questions or comments you will have on any report or presentation given. If you need to express yourself, you can just write your question or comment in the platform chat and it will be answered. If necessary and possible, you will be given the privilege to express yourself verbally. Please keep all your microphones and cameras off at all times during the conference, unless you are recognized by the chairs to address the assembly. This meeting will be recorded. As I mentioned, all questions will be answered at the end of each report, which must be accepted or rejected by the assembly via a motion presented and seconded by anyone. To present or second motions, You can do so through the platform chat. The association's parliamentarian, Dr. Ardis Hanson, will ensure that all parliamentary proceedings will be followed during this assembly. The electronic voting form for the existing vacancies on the Executive Council will be sent shortly to the email you used to register for this assembly in Eventbrite. Your voting form will be according to the category to which you belong, personal, organizational, or institutional. Muy buenas tardes a todos y todas y bienvenidos a la Asamblea General de la Asociación de Bibliotecas Universitarias de Investigación Institucionales del Caribe. Como todos conocen, el mundo enfrenta su peor desafío en décadas, lo cual nos ha obligado a recurrir a nuevos métodos y tecnologías para poder comunicarnos. Esta asamblea no es la excepción, pero con la asistencia y el auspicio de la compañía Go Open Dingen, continuaremos con los trabajos de nuestra asociación este año de forma virtual. Esto nos lleva a establecer algunas reglas para permitir la participación ordenada de todos. Los trabajos se conducirán mayormente en el idioma inglés. Sin embargo, los anuncios principales e interludios entre los puntos de la agenda serán anunciados en los 3 idiomas oficiales de la asociación. Además, tendremos voluntarios que pueden traducir sus preguntas o comentarios que puedan tener sobre cualquier reporte o presentación. De tener que expresarse, puede escribir su pregunta o comentario en el chat y será respondida debidamente al ser reconocido por la presidenta. De ser necesario y posible, se le brindará el privilegio de expresarse verbalmente. Le pedimos por favor que mantengan todas sus cámaras y micrófonos apagados durante la asamblea, a menos que sea reconocido por la presidencia para expresarse. Esta reunión será grabada. Las preguntas serán respondidas al finalizar de cada reporte, el cual debe ser aceptado o rechazado por la asamblea. Para presentar o secundar mociones podrán hacerlo a través del chat. La parlamentaria de la asociación, la doctora Ardis Hanson, velará por que se cumpla con el proceso parlamentario durante los trabajos de la asamblea. Próximamente se le estará enviando el formulario de votación electrónico para los candidatos a las vacantes existentes en el Consejo Ejecutivo al correo electrónico que utilizó para registrarse. Su formulario de votación será de acuerdo con la categoría que pertenezca, ya sea personal, organizacional o institucional.
Bonsoir tout le monde et bienvenue à l'Assemblée générale virtuelle de l'Association des bibliothèques universitaires de recherche et institutionnelles de la Caraïbe, ACURIL. Il est de notoriété publique que le monde fait face aux pires défis des dernières décennies, ce qui nous a forcés à utiliser de nouvelles méthodes et technologies pour communiquer. Cette assemblée n'est pas une exception, mais avec l'assistance et la générosité de notre sponsor Go Oplingingen, il nous sera possible d'effectuer notre assemblée cette année virtuellement. Et afin d'assurer la bonne conduite de cette rencontre, voici les règles qui permettront de faciliter la participation ordonnée de chacune. Les travaux de cette assemblée se feront principalement en anglais, mais les annonces générales et les pauses entre les points de l'agenda seront annoncées dans les 3 langues officielles de l'association. De plus, nous aurons des bénévoles qui pourront traduire les questions ou commentaires que vous aurez sur les rapports ou présentations données. Si vous avez besoin de vous exprimer, merci d'écrire votre question ou commentaire dans la partie chat de la plateforme et elle sera répondue. Si nécessaire et si possible, il vous sera donné le privilège de vous exprimer verbalement. Merci de garder vos caméras et microphones éteints, sauf si vous êtes appelé à prendre la parole par le modérateur ou la présidente de l'Assemblée. Cette rencontre sera enregistrée. Toutes les questions seront répondues à la fin de chaque rapport qui doivent être adoptés ou rejetés par l'Assemblée par une motion présentée et appuyée par n'importe quel membre. Afin de présenter et appuyer ces motions, il est possible de passer par la section chat de la plateforme. La parlementaire de l'association, Dr. Ardis Hanson, va s'assurer que toutes les procédures parlementaires soient suivies durant l'Assemblée. Le bulletin de vote électronique vous sera bien pour combler les vacances de poste du Conseil exécutif, vous seront bientôt envoyés par email en utilisant l'adresse que vous avez utilisée pour vous enregistrer à l'Assemblée sur Eventbrite. Votre bulletin de vote vous sera envoyé selon la catégorie à laquelle vous êtes inscrit ou inscrite, personnel, association, organisation ou institution. Merci.
Before beginning the assembly, we would like to ask everyone for a minute of silence in honor of those ACURILians who no longer accompany us physically, but who will always be with us in spirit. Antes de comenzar con los trabajos de la asamblea, queremos pedir un minuto de silencio en honor a aquellos acurilianos que ya no nos acompañan de manera física, pero que espiritualmente siempre estarán con nosotros.
Avant de commencer l'Assemblée générale, nous voudrions demander une minute de silence en honneur des Acuriléens, Acuriléennes qui nous ont quittés cette année, absentes physiquement, ils ou elles seront toujours présentes par la pensée.
And now we will formally start today's works. My name is Luis Joel Crespo from Puerto Rico, and I'm the interim executive secretary of ACURIL. And I give the floor to the president of ACURIL, Dr. Bertha May Walker from the Bahamas. Ahora vamos a comenzar con los trabajos de la asociación. Mi nombre es Luis Joel Crespo, soy el secretario ejecutivo interino de ACURIL. Y le dejo la palabra a la doctora Bertha May Walker de Bahamas para comenzar con los trabajos del día.
Maintenant, la séance est officiellement ouverte. Le modérateur de la séance est Joël Louis Crespo, qui est le secrétaire exécutif provisoire, et il donne la parole à la présidente d'ACURIL, le docteur Bertha May Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Crespo. Madam Parliamentarian, can you please confirm if we are qualified?
Would everyone please signify in the chat that they are available and eligible to participate in quorum, please?
Por favor, todos escribir en el chat que están disponibles y presentes para participar de esta asamblea.
Merci d'écrire dans la section du chat si vous êtes disponible et que vous avez rempli les conditions pour être membre à jour et être dans le quorum.
I have counted 23 people have signified that they are available. That is 23 out of the 40 participants. Does anyone else wish to signify they are here as for quorum?
Se han contado 23 participantes de los 40 que aparecen es necesario que te escriban en el chat que están disponibles y elegibles para participar, para que sean tomados en consideración en el quórum.
La parlementaire a compté 23 personnes qui sont disponibles et présentes. Est-ce qu'il s'agit du nombre complet? S'il vous plaît, mettez votre disponibilité dans le chat. Merci.
Six. Two, three. We now have 32 or 40 participants who have certified they are here for quorum, Madam President.
We are qualified.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Madam Parliamentarian. I would like to welcome all. Oh, go ahead.
Se ha establecido que hay quórum por la parlamentaria, así que continuamos entonces con los trabajos.
La parlementaire a établi le quorum. Nous pouvons donc commencer les travaux de cette assemblée.
I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you in attendance to this. Finally, we've gotten to this annual General Assembly, and I thank you for your participation this afternoon. Can we have a look at the agenda and have an approval, please? Are there any other items you would want added to this agenda? If not, can I have an approval?
¿Alguien, si algún comentario, tienen algún comentario o cambio que quieren hacer a la agenda, pueden hacerlo ahora a través del chat. Si no, deben presentar una moción para aprobar.
Si vous avez d'autres points pour l'agenda, merci de les annoncer dans le chat. Sinon, il nous faudrait une personne pour approuver et une deuxième pour appuyer l'agenda. Merci.
Madam President?
Yes, ma'am.
Would someone please type into the chat box that they make a motion to accept?
Thank you.
And then if someone could please second that motion.
Thank you. I think we have a motion and a seconder. Thank you.
Excellent.
Item 4 on the agenda speaks to the annual General Assembly of June of 2019. Unfortunately, we do not have the minutes of that meeting. As you know, the executive secretary, who's now deceased, she did not leave any record of the minutes of those meetings. We will continue to search to see if we can find such minutes. And if we do, we will still share these minutes with you. And you would be able to respond in terms of your reaction to those minutes. So I do apologize for not having those minutes today. And now to new business.
Ahora pasamos a asuntos nuevos. La presidenta primero se disculpó por no tener las minutas de la pasada reunión de la Asamblea General en ACURIL en Aruba, debido a que al fallecimiento de la doctora Vigo, las minutas no se pudieron conseguir para esta Asamblea General. Es por eso que se presentarán en un tiempo más adelante. Y pasamos entonces al punto de asuntos nuevos.
Donc, l'agenda a été accepté et appuyé. La présidente est désolée parce que les minutes de l'Assemblée générale 2019, nous n'avons pas pu les trouver suite au décès de la directrice exécutive, Dr. Luisa Vigo Cepeda. Donc, la présidente s'excuse. Nous les recherchons tous toujours. Néanmoins, nous allons aller directement donc au premier point de l'agenda, le point 5i.
Thank you. In the interest of time, we would have prepared some full documents and you would have received these. So the reports that you would receive today would be summary of those reports. The reports from the SIGs and the CARs are attached, and I think you have those in your possession as well.
Para propósitos de ahorro de tiempo, se compartieron anteriormente vía correo electrónico los documentos que se van a presentar en el día de hoy, tanto los reportes de la presidenta como los demás oficiales y demás presidentes o jefes de mesas redondas y grupos especiales. Lo que se presentará hoy será un resumen de esos documentos que ya ustedes debieron haber recibido por correo electrónico.
Afin de tenir compte du temps, Madame la Présidente a préparé un court rapport de synthèse pour votre information. Vous avez reçu le rapport complet ainsi que les autres rapports soumis par les responsables et co-responsables des différents SIG et CAR qui ont fait des présentations en novembre dernier.
Thank you. And now to the President's report. As I've said earlier, the full report should be in your possession. And what I will present this afternoon is just a summary of those reports. I would be available if you have questions coming out of the full report, and I will be glad to answer those. The Office of the President for the 2019-2021 session focused on three main areas: the planning of the annual conference and the 50th anniversary celebration, matters of governance and transparency, and membership engagement. The conference. 3 months into the planning of ACURIL 2020 Bahamas, Hurricane Dorian devastated the islands of Abaco and Grand Bahama in the northern Bahamas. This devastation shuttered our financial base and left us wondering if ACURIL would happen. After some reassurance, we, the local organizing committee, decided that we would proceed with plannings given the advice of some well-supported financiers. And so we continued. Hotel arrangements were made, invitations to participants were delivered, and then 9 months, 3 glorious months away from June 2020, along came COVID-19, and the world stood still. ACURIL 2020 was no longer priority for members. Countries closed their borders in a bid to contain the virus. Airlines suspended flights, hotels were closed, and the local organizing committee wondered what could possibly be next. Persons who had registered sent in their decision to withdraw. The ultimate decision was to cancel ACURIL 2020. Canceling was not just an ACURIL decision. We watched as associations worldwide, large and small, did the same. But slowly we noticed a move to the virtual realm. Could this be a possibility for us? The long and the short of it is we did. And so our first ever virtual conference is history. Many of you in this space this afternoon made this possible. To you, I say thank you. from the depth of my heart. And I say thanks to EBSCO for providing the platform to deliver the conference. For each day of the conference, there were over 230 participants, participating from countries as far as Dubai, Thailand, South Africa, and of course, our faithful regional supporters. This is your success. The celebration of the 50th conference anniversary was presented as a part of this conference. And I would like to commend the efforts of Dr. Pierre-Louis and her team for the exhibition presentation. A second and vital part of this planning was to have a documentary of the history of ACURIL ready at this time. This did not happen. I still believe it is a worthwhile project, and I hope that the incoming president and the executive council would agree to pursue this project. On matters of governance. Matters of governance focus on the revision of our constitution and bylaws and consumed most of the working time of the executive council. Our preliminary review is completed. We now ask that you review those documents, keeping in mind its relevance not just for the day, but into the future. Your input is vital. More on this will be coming from the chair of that committee, Dr. Ardis Hansen. Another document you should be expecting shortly, and for which we seek your input, is the strategic planning document. A second matter relevant to governance and transparency pertains to the finances of the association. Some steps were initiated by the council, and you will hear of these under agenda item 5.3. Under membership engagement, we seek to find ways to communicate with you outside of the annual conference event. During this review period, we were able to host one webinar on the pedagogy of learning. Thanks to Adele and her team, we were able to invite Dr. Avanel Joseph from the University of the West Indies to present on this topic. As we continue to build stronger and better technologies in the region and in our institutions, we will be able to do more. Ladies and gentlemen, in a nutshell, this is the report of the President, ACURIL 2019-2021. And again, the full document should be in your possession. And now under the agenda, we will go to the report from ACURIL 2019 and invite past President Monique Albert to present.
Good afternoon, everybody. You won't see my picture because I'm using my library account, Mongi Maduro Library, but I hope you can hear me well. I keep it very brief. It is some time ago that we had our conference in Aruba. As you probably remember, the theme was the SDGs and their importance for libraries. Officially, it was access and opportunities for all Caribbean libraries, archives, and museums supporting the UN Sustainable Development Goals. We started early with forming a program committee. I was so happy that I got members from the different language groups. You see their names here on the slide. And they provided a lot of valuable input. And well, together we were able to decide on the sub-themes. And yeah, I think it was very powerful process that we came to the decision. We had the sub-themes. The calls were revised by the executive secretary and they were published on November the 27th, as you can see on the slide. I won't go to all the sub-themes, but we had 5. each for each day, and we even had 2 sub-themes on one day. When it came to the selection of the keynote speakers, we had several criteria. We looked at the expert knowledge of the main theme and one or more of the sub-themes, but also we wanted to have speakers from the different language groups. And we wanted speakers from Caribbean countries as well as the Kingdom of the Netherlands. It's not very often that we have Dutch speakers on ACURIL meetings, even though we are one of the language groups. So we were happy that we had Professor Kees Hameling, who is an expert on this field, and also Paul Geerders as a Dutch speaker. And we had Maaike Tonen from the National Library of the Netherlands. We were so proud that we had 2 ministers, because we had Minister Alcala Wale, Minister of Education from Curaçao, and the Minister of Education from Aruba, the Honorable Armando Lampe. So they were among our keynote speakers and they provided valuable contribution. We received a lot of proposals for papers and workshops, and 10 of them were accepted, 8 workshops and a lot of poster presentations. It was very difficult to fit all the workshops in the limited amount of rooms we had in the hotel, but we managed. But I was very happy that I received so many proposals. Well, the proceedings were finalized some time ago, and they were published on time. It was little difficult to get sponsorship for the speakers, but in the end we managed. Prince Bernhard Fund was approached, but they were not able to finance. But GO School of Information covered the travel of one of the speakers. The Royal Library of the Netherlands sponsored the travel of one of the speakers. And MCB Bank from Curaçao and our own Mangi Maduro Foundation sponsored the other speakers. I want to thank you for all your valuable contributions to this successful conference, which turned out to be the last live conference of ACURIL. And we hope to be able to welcome you in Curaçao in 2022 for the next Dutch Caribbean conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Past President. And now we'll have a report from the Interim Executive Secretary, Mr. Louis Crespo.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Muchas gracias, señora Presidenta. This report intends to present a summary of the events that took place since ACURIL's General Assembly celebrated in Aruba on June the 2nd to the 6th, 2019 until today. Unfortunately, many scheduled activities, meetings and conferences couldn't be executed due to a tragic pandemic currently affecting many parts of the world, the Caribbean region not being an exception. Regarding the Aruba General Assembly, 4 resolutions were presented at the last General Assembly, which took place in Oranjestad, Aruba in 2019. Resolutions of gratitude from the conference were fulfilled by extending certificates to all those involved. Certificates were signed by President Monique Albers and Executive Secretary Dr. Luisa Vigo Cepeda. The second resolution was the Caribbean Green Libraries database presented by Astrid Britton and Irais Sankastin from Aruba. That ACURIL developed an inventory of Caribbean Green Libraries and create a database in order to identify the ways in which the information units are implementing the SDGs and make experiences available to serve the models. The third resolution was Libraries, Archives, and Museums in the Caribbean implementing the Sustainable Development Goals. That was presented by Arlene Elaine Regis and Cherie Peltier Davis from Trinidad and Tobago. The ACURIL created a webpage on its website for members to document how libraries, archives, and museums are implementing the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and that the page be used on both as an archive and as a data resource on SDG activity in Caribbean libraries, archives, and museums. The fourth and final resolution, ACURIL collaborative work with all the members of the community for the benefit of all, presented by Laurie Taylor of Florida, United States of America. The ACURIL endeavored to bring artists, dancers, singers, farmers, fishers, and other intellectuals together to participate in the different conference, to share experiences and build up relationships, develop projects and services for the benefit of all. The ACURIL reaffirmed itself with the belief that we must work together collaboratively with other sectors in order to accomplish the best with our endeavor and set examples to move and benefit our community forward. Regarding the Executive Council meeting celebrated in Oranjestad, Aruba in June 7, 2019. This was the first meeting with President Dr. Bertha May Walker as president. She greeted all Executive Council members and guests to the Executive Council meeting. She expressed her willingness to have an open communication environment with all Executive Council members and to share different experiences. She thanked ACURIL for having elected her as president and expressed her willingness to serve the organization for the benefit of all. She hoped that with the collaboration and the Executive Council, she will be able to carry out the organization's goals and special annual commitments. She also thanked all outgoing Executive Council members and congratulated immediate past President Mara Monica Verts from the organization of the 2019 conference and invited her to say a few words. Mrs. Verts conveyed her participation to all for the opportunity given to serve as president for the past year and indicated that the year had been a learning period for all one involved in this process. She hoped that the conference had been of benefit for all attendees. The Executive Secretary, Dr. Luisa Vigo Cepeda, then introduced the new Executive Council members. Institutional member from the Biblioteca Nacional de Curaçao, Representative Maritza Jacobus, for a three-year term, and Mr. Luis Joel Crespo, pension member from the University of Puerto Rico at Rio Piedras for a 2-year term. Also in that meeting, it was officially recognized that Dr. Ardis Henderson would serve as parliamentarian for ACURIL. Regarding ACURIL mid-year meeting celebrated at the Chamber Health Sciences Library at the University of South Florida in Tampa, Florida, United States, on December 5 and 6, 2019. This was the last in-person Executive Council meeting. As stated in the bylaws, the nomination of Vice President, President-elect was made by Council member following languages representation. The Executive Secretary, Dr. Vigo Cepeda, presented the nomination of Dr. Jeanette Lebron Ramos, member of the Executive Council in the Association category and President of the ACURIL Puerto Rico chapter. Her nomination was accepted by Council to serve as such from 2020 and 2021. Regarding annual conferences, during the mid-year meeting, it was discussed that Madame Payard, Vice President, stated that she already initiated the process of seeking nominations for the different vacancies that would have occurred in the next General Assembly in the Bahamas on June 7 to 11, 2020. Mrs. Astrid Britton gave her final report as chair of the local organizing committee for the 2019 ACURIL Annual Conference. Progress reports were presented from the local organizing committees of ACURIL Annual Conference of 2020 in Nassau, the Bahamas, and 2021 in Kingston, Jamaica, by Dr. Dorcas Bowler and Mr. Nicholas Graham, respectively. Initial conversations were started for the 2022 annual conference to be held in Curaçao. Immediate consultation with Curaçao officials indicated the willingness to hold the meeting in the country. Mrs. Nitza Jacobus would act as the local organizing committee chair. Unfortunately, due to the war emergency caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, in-person ACURIL conference for 2020 and 2021 had to be postponed or canceled. Instead, on the 2020 annual conference that was scheduled to be held in the Bahamas, a virtual conference took place on November 18 and 19 of 2020, as Madam President already mentioned in her report. Regarding constitution and bylaws, at the mid-year meeting, There was a extensive and profound conversation of the current bylaws and the constitution of our organization. Dr. Ardis Hansen, ACURIL parliamentarian, served as chair of the Special Committee for the Constitution and Bylaws Revision. A report with the proposed changes and amendments to both documents will be presented by her at this General Assembly in a later period. Regarding vacancies in the Executive Council, Madam Anne Payard, Vice President, President-elect 2020-2021, presented her resignation for personal reasons on November 3rd, 2020. Dr. Ginette Ramos was appointed by Council to fill her position as Vice President, President-elect. Mr. David Driscoll from the Calvin McCain Library at the University of Technology, Jamaica, was elected by Council as Vice President, President-elect 2022-2023. On November 26, 2020, Dr. Luisa Vigo Cepeda, Executive Secretary since 208, ACURIL founding member and past president, unfortunately passed away, leaving an incredible void in this association. On January 19, 2020, Professor Luis Joe Crespo from Puerto Rico was appointed by the Executive Council to replace her on an interim basis to help with the transition process until a new Executive Secretary could be selected. On February 12, 2021, the Executive Council, following the Constitution and bylaws of the association, selected Dr. Elizabeth Pierre-Louis from Haiti as the new Executive Secretary of ACURIL. On January 14, 2021, Dr. Dulce Maria Núñez de Taveras of Dominican Republic presented her resignation as institutional member on the Executive Council. A new replacement will be selected today by all present members that belong to the institutional category. And finally, on February 19, 2021, Professor Alma Luces Figueroa Ortiz presented her resignation as treasurer of ACURIL. The Executive Council will have an emergency meeting shortly after this assembly to start the process to select a replacement for this important position. And that will be the interim Executive Secretary report, Madam President.
Thank you so much, Mr. Crespo. Fantastic report. And now we will have the Treasurer's report. Mr. Crespo, will Professor Alma Lucius be presenting, or will you be presenting what she has submitted?
I believe Ms. Professor Figueroa Ortiz is present.
Okay, then it is my pleasure to invite Professor Alma Lucius to make her presentation. Madam Treasurer, former Treasurer, are you there? Mr. Crespo?
Madam President, with your permission, I do have the Treasurer's report here. I could read it for you and ask to be presented in screen.
Can we just give a final call out to Professor Alma Lucius. I'm afraid to say her name for fear of messing it up. So I don't mean any disrespect. So that is why I'm not, maybe you, Madam Moderator, can pronounce the name for me so I wouldn't mess up. But let's give her another chance. Give her another minute to see if she's available to present. Is there anything in the chat from her?
No, Madam President.
Okay. Okay, in the interest of time, Louis, maybe you can do the presentation of what you have as best as you can.
Yes, Madam President. I asked it to be shared on screen,
Okay.
and I will read it as follows. Report virtual meeting, University of the Bahamas, annual year assembly meeting, February 22, 2021. Background of ACURIL economic situation. Inactive accounts as of the Treasury report year meeting in Curacao, November 26, 29, 2014. Resolutions presented to Council in the Second Executive Council in the Bahamas Conference, Friday, June 13, 2014, to bring Council to think of the future situation of the organization. The Executive Secretary and Executive Council joins resolutions in one that was presented officially to a Popular Bank UPR-RP branch 2014. The registered signature of Mario de Los Angeles Zavala, representing the Executive Council, Executive Secretary, Dr. Luis Avigo, and Alma Luzas Figueroa as Treasurer were registered in the bank meeting. Mid-year meeting Disaster Relief Fund Florida, Media Fund, see Appendix Report. The Disaster Fund integrated into savings account. It has a total of $14,858 with 89 cents. Funds assigned by Council yearly. Automation Fund, $2,000 assigned by Council yearly. Publications Fund, $2,000 assigned by Council yearly. Web page contract, $130 for status detectives report to Council as of 2020. For official information, see Puerto Rico State Department and the website of the Puerto Rico State Department. Next is an appendix. That includes the different actions that were made during it says 2017. Madam President.
Okay.
It's the appendix that she referred.
Okay.
At
Thank
the
you.
beginning.
All right.
Yeah.
We want to thank
This information was shared. I'm sorry, Madam President. This information was shared with the members via email.
Wonderful.
As well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if there is any reaction, you can perhaps just let us know your concerns or any questions. And I want to thank Madam Alma Lucius, Professor Alma Lucius Figueroa Ortiz. And I apologize if I messed up your name, but we want to thank you for your service to ACURIL and for the submission of your report. Okay, and the next item on the agenda, a report from the Vice President, President-elect, Dr. Jeanette LeBrun.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Let me share my screen, please. Okay.
Sorry, Jeanette, I already shared it for you.
Oh.
I found it, yeah. Is that okay?
Yes, but I have a PowerPoint presentation.
Okay, then I stop sharing, we take yours, okay.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Buenas tardes a todos. I will read the report in English, but on screen you can read it in English and Spanish. Leeré el informe en inglés, pero en pantalla podrán leerlo en inglés y en español. Permanent committee. Yes. Permanent committees.
You want me to turn on a black one?
I'm sorry. Okay. Permanent committees. ACURIL integrate 5 permanent committees: Constitution and bylaws, publication and public relations, finance, membership, and continuing education. The work of these committees will restart once the new Executive Council is constituted. Special interest group. ACURIL special interest group are the following: academic, special, and information technologies, national, public, and school libraries, archive and document management, and research in the information field. Content Area Roundtable. The ACURIL Content Area Roundtable are agriculture, environment and green libraries, cultural heritage, evidence-based practice and continuing professional development, law and social science, virtual health library in the Caribbean, and virtual reference services and electronic resources. The detail of the share and co-share of each of these groups has been included in the shared reports. Sticks and cards participation in the virtual conference of ACURIL 2020. The ACURIL virtual conference had the participation of 2 special interest groups and 4 groups of roundtable from the content area. From the special interest group, the academic and special libraries and information technology participate with 3 presentations, and the archive and document management with 1 presentation. For the content area roundtable, the cultural heritage participate with a video and a conference, the evidence-based practice and continuing professional development with a workshop, the virtual health library in the Caribbean with 1 conference, and the virtual reference services and electronic resources with 3 other conferences. The details of the presentation are included in the report on the special interest group and content area roundtable for ACURIL 2020 virtual conference. Nominations. Nominations to be considered by the Executive Council to serve as of February 2021 in the following category are as follows: institutional member, 3 vacancies, association member, 1 vacancy, and personal member, 1 vacancy. Institutional member. The Alma Jordan Library of the University of the West Indies, Trinidad and Tobago, represented by Ms. Cheryl Bertier Davis, has ended its term of service on the Executive Council of ACURIL. The position of the University of Technology of Jamaica, represented by David Drysdale, is vacant to fill the position of Vice President. The institutional position occupied by el Programa de Bibliotecología y Ciencias de la Información from Pontificia Universidad Católica Madre y Maestra Dominican Republic, represented by Dulce Maria Núñez, has become vacant after Dr. Núñez resigned from the position in January 2021. The nominees to fill these vacancies are the University of Guyana Library, the Universidad del Sagrado Corazón, Puerto Rico, Mother María Teresa Guevara Library, the Instituto Tecnológico de Santo Domingo, República Dominicana, Emilio Rodríguez de Morici Library, and the University of Puerto Rico, Río Piedras Campus Library System. All institutions accepted the nomination and are in good financial standing. The University of Guyana Library is represented by Ms. Gwen George. The Universidad Sagrado Corazón, Puerto Rico, is represented by Dr. Natalie Negron Torrens. The Instituto Tecnológico de Santo Domingo, República Dominicana, is represented by Elsie Jimenez, and the University of Puerto Rico Rio Piedras Campus Library System is represented by Loida Nieves. All are nominated to serve for 3 years from 2020 to 2024. Association member. The ACURIL Puerto Rico chapter, with representation by Dr. Jeanette Lebron Ramos, has ended its term in service on the Executive Council. Nominated to fill this position is the Asociación de Egresados de la Escuela Graduada de Bibliotecologías y Ciencias de la Información, ACEGRAPSI, from University of Puerto Rico, with representation by Mr. José Robledo González, who is nominated to serve for 2 years from 2021 to 2023. Personal member. Gretchen Carrasquillo Ramos ended her term as a member of the Executive Council, and it was offered to be renamed for the position. Unfortunately, she declined the nomination. Other nominee for this position as personal member is Dr. Laurie Taylor, who is Senior Director for Library Technology and Digital Strategies in the University of the Florida. Dr. Taylor is in good financial standing as a personal member with the association and is nominated to serve for 2 years from 2021 to 2023. The Scrutiny Committee has already been formed and has the collaboration of Eric Tozan, Gretchen Carrasquillo, and Cheryl Perdier. Thank you for accepting to be member of the Scrutiny Committee. The Executive Secretary will send you the voting from corresponding to your category of member by email at this time. Please check and vote. ACURIL Conference 2022. The next ACURIL Conference will take place from June 5 to 9, 2022 in Curaçao under the theme Change Management and Library Resilience, Effective Strategy for the Reinvention of Library Services in the Caribbean. Global society faces important challenges that affect the way of living, working, and communicating in various trades. Many of these challenges alter the planning of organization of many work areas, including the information field. Caribbean libraries have altered a large part of their operation due to the budget situation, atmospheric events, pandemics, and advanced technology that are needed in their different environments. Based on these great challenges, the theme selected for this conference responds to new trends in the world of information and the current and future reality of libraries in the Caribbean. Its goal is to highlight current challenge and point out the new future for academic libraries and librarians in an effort to identify the proactive changes needed to help move libraries toward proactive action that allow them to continue meeting their goals. Tentative sub-themes: managing change in the Library of the Caribbean, crisis and new technologies, developing library resilience, organizational resilience, new trends, new libraries. The organizing committee of the conference 2022, led by Nitsa Jacobus, has already begun the step to hold the conference. Likewise, the program committee has already begun to be formed. For this year, we will be organizing webinars for all ACURIL members on the way to the 2022 conference. The new Executive Council will hold the usual summer and winter meeting in this year. We look forward to seeing you in the webinars and also in ACURIL Curaçao 2022. Respectfully submitted, Jeanette Lebron. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. LeBron. Now I would like to invite Dr. Ardis Hanson to give us an overview of the process involved in the revision of the Constitution and bylaws of the association.
Thank you, Madam President. At the 2019 annual meeting of the Executive Council, the Constitution and Bylaws Committee accepted the charge from Council to review the current bylaws and Constitution. The intent of the committee was to identify and address inconsistencies within and across the document, update and standardize definitions, and review business practices. These activities were conducted by representatives from each of the 4 language groups. The members of the Constitution and Bylaws Committee are me, from the English group, Mr. David Drysdale, English, Dr. Elizabeth Pierre-Louis, representing the French, as is Eric Toussaint, also representing the French. Mrs. Jane Smith and Mrs. Astrid Britton represent the Dutch. Professor Marisol Florel Romero and Hector Ruben Sanchez represent the Spanish language groups. A series of communications were held across the members of the Constitution and Bylaws Committee. Areas were identified in both the Constitution and Bylaws prior to the mid-year meeting held at the Executive Council in November in Tampa, Florida. Draft documents were created using 2 features in Word, line enumeration and comments, so that we could track line-by-line changes and track comments and recommended changes as we work through the documents. At the 2019 mid-year meeting in Tampa, Council came together and spent an intensive 2 days working, reading, and editing the Constitution and the bylaws. The Council completed its review of the Constitution and began its review of the bylaws. At the end of the second day of the Council meeting, the Council agreed to continue to work on the bylaws and to conduct a final read on the changes suggested to the Constitution. In 2020, suggestions and recommendations were sent by members of Council to the chair of the committee for inclusion to the working drafts that were reviewed by members of the committee and also reviewed at the 2020 Council meetings. The Council continued its review of the Constitution and agreed to accept the changes suggested as to be presented to the General Assembly for review. The Council also continued its review of the bylaws, and we currently have a working draft. The Constitution and bylaws could not be presented at the 2020 annual meeting due to an unforeseen illness by its chair, which precluded attendance at the Council meeting and at the conference. I think it's important to consider as we examine the Constitution and bylaws of ACURIL, which will be sent out, I believe, Madam President, to the membership for review, that we remain aware of internal factors that need to be viewed objectively and clearly that affect the workings of ACURIL. Specifically, I speak of the continued focus on the need for transparency on operational issues from the membership, the urgency as to operational procedures and practice brought on by the COVID pandemic and the subsequent quarantine, and finally, issues surrounding business continuity, sadly brought to the forefront with the recent death of Dr. Vigo and the resignation tendered by Professor Figueroa. Some of the most important things we looked at when we looked at the Constitution was the inconsistency in the language within the Constitution. We can tell, you can track the changes over time as ACURIL made somewhat substantive changes to what members of the board, members of council, these kinds of language changes that make reading the Constitution and the bylaws confusing. We also looked very closely at what was said to be done in the Constitution, which is then explained how it will be done, or more information given on it in the bylaws, and tried to reconcile the inconsistencies that occurred over time when one document might be changed, but the second one was not, and or those instances where something was never put into the bylaws, which has been brought up by membership or by council members in assembly or in meetings. We've tried to be very consistent with how we name items within the Constitution and the bylaws, and to explicitly lay out if it is a process, the explicit actions that occur within that process. Some of the things that could be addressed in the bylaws probably are better addressed in the handbook or a manual that gives more detailed information on the actual steps of how this thing is done. So it will probably be a third document reviewed and or created that then takes us from the laws that we established to govern ACURIL as found in the Constitution, the bylaws, which provide some operational information, definitional information, and references to actions that would probably be fully explicated more into an organizational handbook that gives precise steps to do these things. So we have, much like we have in law, the Constitution, the legislation, and then the code that tells us how these things are enacted.
Thank you, Dr. Artis.
Dr. Wacko.
Go on, yes.
I can share to show an example of how the document will look when it's sent to membership,
No problem.
if you would like.
Go for it.
Let me see if I can do this. Zoom is new to me. I'm using the Constitution as the example. And as you can tell, everything has been defined within articles and sections as the standing Constitution is. And then those things that needed to be added to within an article have been added as an additional section. And then we have the enumerated line numbers on the left. And this is mainly for benefit to refer to line such and such when you're addressing a change or a recommendation or a question, rather than try to say Article 2, Section 1, third sentence. We could then just say line 9, the definition for the Caribbean region is, should we include this? And this is the format that we have used throughout the review of the document. Things that are new will be added in using the track changes feature, so they will stand out for anything new that has been added as we get information in from membership and from other members of council. This is an example of commenting. And we have the same format set up for the bylaws as well. And I want to, yes, okay. I don't want to take up a lot of time with the minutia of the elements of that. If anyone has any comments or questions, please feel free to email me, and I'm happy to go into more detail. Thank you, Dr. Wacko.
Thank you,
Thank you, Madam President.
Madam President, if I may translate that last part.
Yes, please.
Sí, el informe, a pesar del informe de la Constitución y los bylaws que ha estado, se han estado realizando pues unas revisiones en un comité que está siendo dirigido por la doctora Aldi Sanson. A pesar de que ha sido leído completamente pues, en inglés y ella hizo una presentación completa en inglés, si alguno tiene alguna pregunta o no entiende o quiere entender mejor los trabajos que se han estado realizando con respecto a estos cambios en los bylaws y en la constitución de ACURIL en su idioma, le pueden escribir directamente pues a ella o puede hacerlo a través del secretariado ejecutivo y con gusto podemos entonces responderle.
Je vais traduire en français. Donc là, nous avons eu la présentation des différents rapports. Et le dernier rapport était sur la révision de la Constitution et des règlements internes d'ACURIL. Donc, c'est le docteur Andis Henson qui était en charge de ce comité. Si vous avez des questions, vous pouvez lui écrire directement ou écrire à l'adresse de la secrétaire exécutive qui se fera un plaisir de traduire et de transmettre. Merci.
Madam President, again, with your permission, there's a question on the chat regarding, presented by Dr. Dulce Maria Núñez, regarding which criteria was used to select the new executive secretary of ACURIL. And she remembers that according to the Constitution, ACURIL's headquarters are in Puerto Rico. If you could answer in English and then I can answer in Spanish and so forth.
The headquarters is in Puerto Rico. That does not impact the secretariat. And we did have a legal expert join us in our executive council meeting to explain the legality of all of this. And working with that, we created a nomination form which was approved by council, and persons were nominated to fill the post. But it does not impact the registration in Puerto Rico, the headquarters in Puerto Rico.
En respuesta a la pregunta, la doctora Walker indica que hubo pues una consulta legal con respecto a la sede de ACURIL en Puerto Rico y los requerimientos para que el secretario ejecutivo sea y el tesorero sean de Puerto Rico. Dado que la vacante era de secretario ejecutivo, el consejo legal fue que los headquarters, o sea, la sede de la asociación se puede mantener en Puerto Rico, pero no así necesariamente el secretario ejecutivo. El secretario ejecutivo puede ser de otro país, no necesariamente de Puerto Rico, siempre y cuando haya registrado en el Departamento de Estado un representante o un agente residente que tenga una dirección local. Pero el secretario ejecutivo no tiene que ser necesariamente residente de Puerto Rico. En cuanto a los criterios, se estableció una hoja de nominación, la cual pues, fue discutida por él y aprobada por el Consejo Ejecutivo, y el Consejo Ejecutivo, siguiendo esa hoja de nominación y de acuerdo a los bylaws y la Constitución, eligió entonces a la señora, a la doctora Pierre-Louis, como la secretaria ejecutiva.
Donc, nous avons répondu à une question qui venait du chat concernant le choix de la nouvelle secrétaire exécutive et aussi le fait que le secrétariat d'ACURIL est à Porto Rico. Donc, la présidente a répondu que nous avons effectivement, Cette association est enregistrée à Porto Rico et le bureau de cette association est enregistré à Porto Rico, mais nous avons fait appel à un juriste qui nous a expliqué que cette adresse peut rester. Il faut qu'il y ait une personne contact qui a une adresse à Porto Rico, mais que la directrice exécutive pouvait être de n'importe quelle nationalité. Donc, suite à cela, nous avons eu une forme de nomination et nous avons soumis cette forme au conseil. Le conseil a discuté de cette forme et a soumis des noms. Et suite à cela, Elisabeth Pierre-Louis, donc moi, j'ai été choisie comme la nouvelle directrice secrétaire exécutive de l'association.
Thank you. Anything further? Any other questions, Louis?
No more questions, Madam President. She would like to have to hear the opinion of the rest of the membership. However, you should recognize her to do so as president. I don't know if the parliamentarian can help us with that. But the question has been answered.
Thank you. We still have a way to go in the agenda. Perhaps we can move on if this is okay with the general membership. If you're satisfied, the question has been answered, or if there's another council member who would like to bring clarity to this move.
Madam President,
Yes, ma'am.
might I suggest that this could be a subsequent email post this meeting to the membership?
Thank you. Okay, so is the scrutiny committee ready with their voting results?
Madam President, I believe the scrutiny committee is still working with the scrutiny of the voting.
Okay.
If you could, we could have a recess of 2 minutes at least.
Okay.
So
All
then they can inform the results.
Okay, so let us take up.
Excuse
Yes,
me, Madam President.
Yes, ma'am.
Louise, if you can advise members to check their email and send in their votes, please.
Okay.
Yes, I believe, yeah. Por favor, todos verifiquen su correo electrónico. La hoja de votación fue enviada por correo electrónico a cada uno de los miembros registrados y que están en good standing, o sea, en buen estado o están activos en la asociación. Eso es muy importante. La hoja de votación se envió de forma electrónica por correo electrónico a los miembros presentes que están activos y en good standing con la asociación. Verifiquen sus correos electrónicos y por favor realicen su voto.
Et donc là, nous sommes à la procédure de vote. S'il vous plaît, tous les membres actifs et de l'association et qui sont éligibles, voyez votre courrier électronique, celui que vous avez utilisé pour vous inscrire à Eventbrite, et vous aurez une forme très facile pour voter. Merci de la soumettre le plus rapidement que possible. Nous allons faire une petite pause pour permettre au comité de contrôle des élections de faire la tabulation des votes. Merci.
Okay, so we'll take a brief 10 minutes as suggested so that we can complete and respond to the forms, and then we will resume. What time would that be, Mr. Crespo?
It will be 3:25.
It is
So
now?
in 10 minutes, right now it's 3:25 at 3:35 Eastern time, Standard Time.
Okay, so we'll resume at 3:35. Please check your emails and vote accordingly.
Tendremos un receso ahora de 10 minutos en lo que el comité de escrutinio realiza el conteo de votos. Ahora mismo son las 3:25, hora local del este. En Puerto Rico, para los participantes de Puerto Rico y República Dominicana, son las 4:26 ya. Eso será a las 4:35 que volveremos.
Nous allons donc faire une courte pause de 10 minutes. Nous allons recommencer à 3h35 heure de l'Est afin de permettre au comité de contrôle des élections de compter les résultats. Donc, merci de contrôler votre email et de voter. À tout de suite.
Madam President, we're still waiting for the scrutiny committee. So I will let you know as soon as I receive word that they have finished with the scrutiny.
Louis, may I just share something here?
I'm sorry, David?
Yes, the issue of the executive secretary, it seems to be still a matter of concern. If you check the chat, because
yes,
I think we need to perhaps just let this matter be ventilated some more, and there can be clarity, because there's a question as to what's the legal authority that was consulted, and you know, raising question of transparency about where the seat of ACURIL is. We know that the council, executive council, got legal advice from someone who is in Puerto Rico, and maybe you can bring some further clarity on that. That is somebody who is based in Puerto Rico who has done work for ACURIL before, I think you said. So all of that needs to be brought to light some more, so that there can be no doubt as to the legal standing of the executive secretary being outside of Puerto Rico.
Well, if Madam President allows me, if Madam President allows that, I'll be happy to do it.
I will bring Louis in, but let me just say that the post of executive secretary, we've been advised that this can be anywhere in the Caribbean. The headquarters still remains, and because of the concerns generated, thanks to
sorry, Madam President, but when you're through, could Louis just translate, because the question are coming from Spanish speakers, and we want it to be abundantly clear for the Spanish speaking persons. Right?
Sure, Louis can bring clarity, but we did have a Puerto Rican gentleman who knows the law, who addressed the matter, and he was the one who advised us accordingly. So Louis, please further explain or translate.
And may I just add, Madam President, that Louis, if you could just mention the name and the legal qualification of the person, to say that we did get solid legal advice on this. The council did.
He will fill in the gaps. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Louis?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Yes, and I will address in Spanish to answer all concerns. Para comenzar, el aviso legal o o sea, la solicitud de asistencia legal la sugerí yo como secretario ejecutivo interino con el propósito de dar comienzo a la selección de un secretario ejecutivo en propiedad con lo más antes posible, dado que eso es una posición sumamente importante, como ustedes saben, en la asociación. El abogado que se presentó de manera gratuita ad honorem, o sea, pro bono, como le podemos decir, y nos dio de su tiempo, es el licenciado Miguel Marrero Sánchez. Es abogado licenciado notario en Puerto Rico y también es abogado licenciado en el gobierno federal de los Estados Unidos. Él trabajó en lo que es la división en registros de corporaciones, lo que es el Division of Registry of Entities, del Departamento de Estado, o sea que él conoce también lo que es algo de derecho corporativo y conoce también lo que es el registro específicamente de corporaciones. Fue por eso que a él se le solicitó una opinión una opinión general sobre cuáles eran los requisitos necesarios que para cumplir con la incorporación de una asociación en el Departamento de Estado de Puerto Rico. La duda que el Consejo tenía en ese entonces era si era necesario o requerido por ley de que el secretario ejecutivo fuera de Puerto Rico. La realidad es que la ley de Puerto Rico no dice eso, dice que no tiene que ser un funcionario del Consejo Ejecutivo, o sea, estoy hablando de una corporación o una asociación en general. No tiene que ser residente de Puerto Rico, sino que debe haber una persona que sirva como agente residente, que sí debe ser con dirección o debe ser un residente en Puerto Rico. Y esa persona que no necesariamente tiene que estar en el consejo, una persona que nombra el consejo y lo que hace es recibir la correspondencia o enviar o someter lo que se conoce como planillas o documentación tanto al Departamento de Estado como al Departamento de Hacienda. La Constitución y los bylaws de ACURIL establecen que los headquarters de ACURIL son en donde la presidencia se encuentre. ¿Ok? No dice nada de Puerto Rico, solo dice que la dirección postal y física de la asociación es en lo que era la Biblioteca Regional del Caribe y el P.O. Box, que es en San Juan, Puerto Rico. Pero no menciona en ningún momento de que el secretario ejecutivo tendría que ser de Puerto Rico. ¿Ok? Y eso fue una opinión legal que se solicitó. En cuanto al proceso, el proceso fue una hoja de nominación que se circuló entre los miembros del consejo y sus invitados, que contó con el input, o sea, contó con los comentarios y la retroalimentación de varios de los miembros del comité ejecutivo y de sus invitados, incluyendo las personas que están haciendo las preguntas, fueron copiadas, por lo menos una de ellas, fueron copiadas en ese proceso. Y luego de que esa hoja de nominación se formalizó, se siguió un proceso de nominación, el cual presidió la presidenta del comité de nominaciones junto con su comité, que es la doctora Ginette Lebrón, y se seleccionó de los nominados a la doctora Elizabeth Pierluis. El consejo, la constitución y los bylaws establecen que el secretario ejecutivo y el tesorero lo escoge el consejo ejecutivo de ACURIL. Y sirven a discreción y at his pleasure, como dicen en inglés, del Consejo Ejecutivo. El Consejo Ejecutivo actuó en total cumplimiento no solo con la ley de Puerto Rico, sino con la Constitución y los bylaws de la asociación al seleccionar a la doctora Elizabeth Pierluis como secretaria ejecutiva. Yo entiendo que el uso y costumbre siempre había sido que el secretario ejecutivo tenía que ser de Puerto Rico. Y siempre había sido de Puerto Rico, pero el caso es que no es un requerimiento legal, ni está escrito en los bylaws, ni en la constitución de la asociación, que ese puesto específicamente tiene que ser de Puerto Rico. Si había un malentendido sobre eso, ese malentendido pues ya se aclaró. I believe, Madam President, I explained.
Okay, let's try it in English.
Very, very.
I think the English folks want to know, what did he say? So share with us, please.
Well, what I explained was that the legal counsel was suggested by me as interim executive secretary. This was because this executive secretary position is a very important position in the association. So I believe that an official executive secretary should be selected, should be a priority. The selection of an executive secretary should be a priority for the council. So we shouldn't wait a lot and for me to have an interim executive secretary. So I suggested the legal counsel of the Miguel Marrero Sanchez, who is an attorney at law, licensed here in Puerto Rico. He's a public notary. And he also is a licensed attorney to serve at the United States federal courts. He also used to work at the Department of State of Puerto Rico, especially in the registry of corporations and entities. So he knows about corporations and registrations of corporations and entities here in Puerto Rico. So Mr. Marrero gave us legal counsel on respect of our main question, that it was if the executive secretary had to be a legal resident of Puerto Rico or could be a legal resident of another country of the Caribbean in this case. His counsel was that there was nothing in the law that said that the executive secretary or any position in any association or corporation incorporated in Puerto Rico had to be a resident or a local resident of Puerto Rico. Instead, he mentioned that the Puerto Rican law only requires that there has to be a registered agent with a local address here in Puerto Rico, and that person will be the person that will be in charge of receiving and delivering documents to the different department agencies, like the Department of State, like the Treasury Department, etc. But that person should be elected, should be appointed. It's not an elected position. It should be appointed by council. It doesn't necessarily needs to be someone in council. It could be someone that council that resides in Puerto Rico, that has a local address in Puerto Rico, and council just appoints that person as registered agent as well. So the council at last was that specifically the executive secretary didn't have to be or was not required to be a person, a resident from Puerto Rico. Regarding the nomination process, we follow the nomination process that is established in our bylaws and in our constitution. We created a nomination form with the criteria, which was shared with all members and guests of council. It received much feedback and suggestions for many members and guests of council. And when a final nomination form was approved, then council began the nomination process as established with the nominational committee, whose chair is Dr. Lebron Ramos. And after the nominees, the nomination committee made the selections and the evaluations, they presented the candidate and council voted as established in the constitution and bylaws for Dr. Elizabeth Pierre-Louis as executive secretary of ACURIL. So everything was according Puerto Rican law, everything was according ACURIL constitution and ACURIL bylaws. There's no need for confusion, or there's no need for concern of the validity of Dr. Pierre-Louis' selection as executive secretary.
Thank you so much. David?
Yes, I think that satisfactorily answers the question to satisfy both language groups, I would say. Yeah.
Madam President, just to answer a last question from Professor Santos Corrada, en términos de una corporación y una organización o una asociación, el proceso de registro en el Departamento de Estado es bastante similar y tienen los mismos requerimientos. Lo que cambia mucho es en términos de Hacienda y en términos de las exenciones contributivas. Y esos sí son otros asuntos. Lo que es el registro de corporaciones sin fines de lucros en el Departamento de Hacienda. No así en el Departamento de Estado. ¿Okay? In English, your question was that one of her concerns was that a corporation is not the same as a nonprofit organization. But I explained to her that for the State Department, the Registry for Corporation and Entities, actually, is the name of the office. Corporations and nonprofits organizations, the process of registration is basically the same. What changed or what is very different is for nonprofits and corporations regarding taxation law and all other requirements from the Treasury Department. That's another theme, and that was not discussed in the meeting for the Executive Council, for the Executive Secretary position. That is another topic. But in terms of the Department of State requirements for for the registration of a corporation or a nonprofit organization or a for-profit organization, there's not much difference. There's the same law.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I will proceed to the translation in French.
Okay.
Oh, please go ahead. I'm sorry, I spoke a lot. So
No, it
I
was
hope
important.
you catch.
That's a lot to
Well,
listen.
I hope you catch most of what I mentioned.
Oui, alors la suite du débat est revenue sur le processus de nomination et aussi sur le conseil juridique qui avait été donné au conseil exécutif d'ACURIL par rapport au choix de quelqu'un qui n'est pas de Porto Rico. Donc, à la rencontre du conseil exécutif du 29 janvier dernier, Monsieur Miguel Marrero Sanchez, qui est un avocat du Commonwealth de Porto Rico, avait été invité et il est venu pro bono. Il travaille dans la loi privée et il savait travailler au registre des entités et corporations de Porto Rico du département d'État. Donc, c'est le secrétaire exécutif provisoire qui avait demandé sa participation afin de clarifier justement ce point qui était que la secrétaire exécutive devait être un résident de Porto Rico et un citoyen américain. Donc, M. Marrero Sanchez a expliqué que les entités et corporations qui font du travail à Porto Rico doivent suivre la loi de Porto Rico sur les corporations et qui est similaire à la loi de Delaware. Et donc, il n'est pas nécessaire pour que les officiels de ces corporations soient des résidents de Porto Rico ou des citoyens américains, mais il faut que chacune de ces corporations enregistrées à Porto Rico ait un agent enregistré et qui représente la corporation sur place et qui a une adresse dans le Commonwealth. Voilà, donc cette personne-là, c'est elle qui soumet et qui reçoit les documents officiels de la part de la corporation ou de l'entité. Elle n'a pas besoin faire partie du conseil exécutif, mais elle doit être désignée et certifiée par le conseil exécutif. Donc, la parlementaire Ardis Hanson avait suggéré que cette position soit définie dans les règlements internes que nous sommes en train de réviser. Donc, c'était ça. Et par la suite, donc, il y a eu soumission d'une forme de nomination qui a été discutée par les membres du conseil. Quand elle a été validée, la directrice du comité de nomination, qui était le docteur Janet Ramos, a diffusé cette forme de nomination. Les formes qui ont été soumises, elles ont été remplies, évaluées et finalement, c'est la nomination d'Elisabeth Pierre-Louis qui a été retenue par le conseil. Il y avait ensuite une deuxième question pour demander par rapport à la spécificité des entités sur la nécessité de la différence entre une corporation et une association sans but lucratif. Et monsieur l'avocat avait aussi expliqué que ce sont les mêmes procédures pour l'enregistrement. Donc voilà, je crois que nous avons levé les doutes et les mauvaises conceptions qui ont pu arriver. Et nous avons éclairé de manière transparente comment s'est fait ce processus. Merci.
Madam President?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go on.
Yes, I have word that the scrutiny committee already has the results for the election, so you may proceed with the agenda.
Thank you. Okay, scrutiny committee, would you like to present the results?
Okay, thank you, Madam President. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so my name is Cheryl Peltier Davis, and the other two members of the scrutiny committee is Eric Toussaint and Gretchen Carrasquillo, and we were chosen by language. So I will report on the results in English. So first I'll report on the institutional members, the voting for that category. There were 3 vacancies and 4 nominations for the position of institutional members for a period of 3 years. So that's 2021 to 2024. And I will read the number of votes for each candidate. So for institutional membership, Library System of the University of Puerto Rico, Rio Piedras campus, represented by Loida E. Nieves, received 8 votes. University of Guyana Library, Guyana, represented by Gwyneth George, received 8 votes. Technological Institute of Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, represented by Elsie Jimenez, received 7 votes. Mother Maria Teresa Guevara, Library of the University of the Sacred Heart, Puerto Rico, represented by Natalie Negron Torrens, received 5 votes. So the 3 successful candidates for institutional membership would be the Library System of the University of Puerto Rico, Rio Piedras campus, represented by Loida Nieves, 8 votes. University of Guyana Library, Guyana, represented by Gwyneth George with 8 votes. And the Technological Institute of Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, represented by Elsie Jimenez, it's 7 votes.
Thank you so much.
I will now, I guess I will go through all of the nominations and the successful candidates, and then Gretchen and Eric will report in the different languages.
Okay.
So the other voting was done for the association member. There was 1 vacancy and just 1 nomination. The position is for 2 years, 2021 to 2023. And the representative would be the Association of the University of Puerto Rico Graduate School of Library and Information Science, based of course in Puerto Rico, represented by Jose Robedo Gonzalez. He received 2 votes. He was the only nominee for that position, association member. And finally, personnel member, there was 1 vacancy and 1 nomination, and the position for 2 years, 2021 to 2023, and the 1 candidate, Dr. Laurie Taylor, she received 15 votes. So she was successful.
Thank you.
Okay, so I will now ask Gretchen to please report in Spanish.
Okay.
Y muy buenas a todos, ¿me escuchan? ¿Me escuchan?
Claramente.
Sí, sí.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Ok, pues me toca a mí dar los votos, ¿verdad? En español. Primeramente, institucional, teníamos 3 vacantes, pero 4 nominaciones, por lo que los números más altos de los votos pues serán los que serán parte del Consejo Ejecutivo por los próximos 3 años, del 2021 al 2024. Tenemos primeramente el Sistema de Bibliotecas de la Universidad de Puerto Rico, el recinto Río Piedras, Puerto Rico, representado por Loida E. Nieves, quien obtuvo 8 votos. También teníamos a la Biblioteca de la Universidad de Guyana, representado por Gwen George, quien obtuvo 8 votos. También tuvimos al Instituto Tecnológico de Santo Domingo de República Dominicana, representado por Elsie Jiménez, quien obtuvo 7 votos. Y la 4ª nominación era la Biblioteca Madre María Teresa Guevara de la Universidad del Sagrado Corazón de Puerto Rico, representada por Natalie Negrón Torrens, quien obtuvo 5 votos. Dicho esto, pues los 3 que quedaron finalmente y que estarán sirviendo en el Consejo Ejecutivo sería el Sistema de Bibliotecas, representado por Loida Nieves, la Biblioteca de la Universidad de Guyana, representada por Gwen George, y el Instituto Tecnológico de Santo Domingo, representado por Elsie Jiménez. del 2021 al 2023, ¿quién era la Asociación de Egresados de la Escuela de Bibliotecología y Ciencias de la Información de la Universidad de Puerto Rico?
Grecia, te estamos perdiendo, disculpa. El micrófono. Si puedes repetir la parte de asociación.
Ok,
Disculpa.
ahora, ¿me escuchas bien?
No, es algo con el micrófono.
Déjame moverme. Maybe es la señal.
No, bueno, el micrófono. Bueno, ahora sí. Te escuchamos claro.
Ahora sí, perfecto.
Sí,
Ok.
disculpa. En la parte de asociación.
Sí, en cuanto a la asociación, teníamos una vacante y una sola nominación que estaría sirviendo por 2 años, desde el 2021 al 2023. Esa nominación era por la Asociación de Egresados de la Escuela de Bibliotecología y Ciencias de la Información de la Universidad de Puerto Rico, ACEGRAPSI, representada por José Robledo González, quien obtuvo 2 votos. ¿Se escuchó bien ahí?
Muy bien.
Ok, no me perdí, perfecto. Finalmente, en cuanto a la categoría de personal, teníamos una sola vacante y una sola nominación por 2 años que estaría sirviendo entre 2021 al 2023. La persona nominada era Laurie Taylor y Laurie recibió 15 votos. Esos serían entonces mi reporte en español para entonces dejar pasar a Eric en cuanto a francés. Gracias. Eric, your
Good evening,
turn.
everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
Parfait, merci. J'ai été choisi avec Gretchen et Cheryl pour faire partie du comité de comptage des votes. Et là, je vais vous présenter les résultats des votes qui ont eu tout à l'heure. Pour la catégorie institutionnelle, nous avons eu 4 candidats. Loïda Nieves du système de bibliothèque de l'Université de Puerto Rico, campus Rio Piedras. Gwyneth George de la bibliothèque de l'Université de la Guyane. L'Institut technologique de Santo Domingo, en République dominicaine, représenté par Elsie Jiménez. Et Mother Maria Teresa Guevara Library, la bibliothèque Mother Maria Teresa Guevara de l'Université du Sacré-Cœur de Puerto Rico, représentée par Nathalie Negron Torrens. Madame Nieves a eu 8 votes, Madame Georges a eu 8 votes, Madame Jiménez a eu 7 votes. Ce sont les 3 personnes qui vont représenter la catégorie institutionnelle dans le comité exécutif. Pour la catégorie association, nous avons eu qu'un seul candidat qui a obtenu 2 votes. C'est M. José Robledo González de l'Association de l'Université de Puerto Rico. École des gradués et bibliothèque de l'école des gradués, et des sciences de l'information. Pour la catégorie institutionnelle, nous avons eu un candidat qui a obtenu 15 votes, c'est Madame Laurie Taylor. Merci.
Thank you. Anything further from this committee?
No,
I believe that's it. Thank you.
Okay, I would like now to congratulate these new members, and I wish you all the best. We're looking for good things from you and your part in building this association. Your position here in the council is not just to show up, but we want you to participate. We want to hear from you, because only by sharing can we grow. No one member has all of the answers. But if you're just going to be quiet and walk away and don't say anything, if there's something bothering you, we need to bring this to the fore so that we can all be a part of the discussion and we can all grow. So I look forward to good things coming from these new members, and I have a feeling I won't be disappointed. So congratulations again and welcome aboard.
Congratulations to all new members.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I'm sorry. Congratulations to all new elected members of council. And now we leave you with you, Dr. Walker, to say some words before you become the immediate past president of ACURIL.
Thank you, Louis. I finally reached to this day. I would like to thank all of you, and I say this sincerely. I would like to thank all of you for allowing me to serve as president. ACURIL has had a long and glorious history, but there's still so much work to do. What I would like to advise is, as we hold on to the good of the past, let us look for new beginnings and new pathways to grow the association. And to achieve this, change is necessary. And we need to embrace such changes in order to keep pace with development and to remain relevant within the region and the world. So to all members of ACURIL, I invite you to participate by speaking your piece, as this is the only way to collaborate and grow. And in the process, we will disagree. And such disagreements are good for growth. These are not to be seen as personal attacks. So together, let's put away our personalities and our politics and stay focused on the mission that is ACURIL. Let's have a conversation. And I think together there's nothing this little association cannot do. So I want to thank you for serving, and it has been a pleasure. I think I have grown. I feel like I can now stand tall among any president. I know President Morning said she always wanted to be a past president, but never president. Well, somehow this was not in the cards, but it happened. And I'm hoping I stepped to the plate, and I did my best. And I thank all of the members of the council and the general membership for your support. You have carried me, and I appreciate your efforts, and I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. While I'm at it, I want to say a special thanks to Mr. Louis Crespo. Louis, you are amazing. You step up to the plate and you did such a fantastic job. On behalf of all of us, we thank you for your efforts.
Thank you, Madam President, for those words. And we thank you on behalf of the association for this years. I believe you are the longest serving president of ACURIL. You have become the longest serving president of ACURIL, but we are very, very grateful of your compromise to this association as well. So thank you very much on behalf of all members of ACURIL for your more than 1 year tenure and as president of ACURIL. And now you're supposed to symbolically pass the gavel to the new president of ACURIL, Dr. Ginette Lebron Ramos from Puerto Rico.
Thank you, Louis.
Yes.
The COVID situation is making us very creative. So, Jeanette,
if I may translate in French.
Oh, yes. Go ahead. Yeah, we can't give you all of that. Go ahead, Louis.
Go in Spanish first, Luis, and then I'll do the French.
Bueno, la doctora Walker acaba de decir sus palabras de despedida agradeciendo a todos. Y en especial, pues yo personalmente, a nombre de toda la asociación, le agradecí a ella por su compromiso con la asociación y por su más de 1 año de presidenta de la asociación, que entiendo yo que ella se convirtió, no sé, tengo que hablar con los historiadores de ACURIL, pero puede que sea la presidenta que más tiempo ha servido como presidenta de ACURIL. Le agradezco a ella y entonces ahora pues vamos a pase simbólico del mallete del presidente a la nueva presidenta de la organización, que será la doctora Ginette Lebron Ramos de Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. But you're very modest. You didn't translate in Spanish all the word of appreciation that we have for your work as interim executive secretary. Mais donc, je voulais juste rapidement résumer. Donc, le docteur Berthamir Walker a adressé ses derniers mots avant de devenir la présidente antérieure immédiate d'ACURIL. Mais avant, elle a vraiment tenu à remercier Luis Crespo pour tout ce travail qu'il a fait. Il s'est proposé très rapidement pour tenir ce poste de manière provisoire afin de permettre que le travail continue de cette association. Il a fait un travail fantastique et au nom de nous tous, nous voudrions vraiment remercier M. Crespo. Et là, nous allons avoir le passage symbolique du marteau à la nouvelle présidente. Madame Dr. Bertha May Walker a eu un long mandat qui n'était pas volontaire, mais elle l'a tenu vraiment avec beaucoup de classe et merci encore pour son leadership.
Thank you.
So before the first words from the new president, Dr. Ginelle Lebron Ramos, we would like to officially install the new executive council members. This is something that usually was taking place on the banquet at the end of the assembly. And now we're doing it virtually. So I present to you the new members of the Executive Council of ACURIL, which are Dr. Ginette Lebron Ramos from Puerto Rico as the president of ACURIL for 2021-2022. Mr. David Drysdale from Jamaica, vice president and president-elect 2022-2023. Dr. Elizabeth Pierre-Louis from Haiti, executive secretary. Dr. Bertha May Walker from the Bahamas, immediate past president. Dr. Artis Hanson, parliamentarian. Mr. Eric Toussaint, institutional member from Haiti. Miss Loida Nieves from Puerto Rico, institutional member. Miss Gwyneth George from Guyana, institutional member. Miss Elsie Jimenez from Dominican Republic, institutional member. Mr. Nicholas Graham, association member. Mr. Jose Robledo Gonzalez, association member. Mr. Luis Joel Crespo, personal member. And Laurie Taylor from the United States, personal member. Ahora, antes de pasar a las palabras iniciales de la nueva presidenta de ACURIL, pasamos entonces a la instalación virtual del nuevo Consejo Ejecutivo de ACURIL para el año 2021-2022, pues que lo componen las siguientes personas. La doctora Ginelle Lebron Ramos de Puerto Rico como presidenta de ACURIL para el año 2021-2022, perdonen. El señor David Drysdale, vicepresidente y presidente electo 2022-2023 de Jamaica. La doctora Elizabeth Pierre-Louis, secretaria ejecutiva. La doctora Bertha May Walker, pasada presidenta inmediata. La doctora Artis Hanson, parlamentaria. El señor Eric Toussaint, miembro institucional. La señora Loida Nieves Ayala, miembro institucional. La señora Gwyneth George de Guyana, miembro institucional. Señora Elsie Jiménez de la República Dominicana, miembro institucional. Señor Nicholas Graham, miembro de asociación. Señor José Robledo, miembro de asociación. Señor Luis Joel Crespo, miembro personal. La doctora Laurie Taylor, miembro personal.
Merci. And I wanted to also thank the past members for their hard work, and they were dedicated also as member of the council. Et maintenant, nous allons lire avec le docteur Lebron Ramos les autres membres du conseil exécutif. La présidente est le docteur Jeannette Lebron Ramos, 2021-2022. Monsieur David Drysdale, vice-président, président élu, 2022-2023. Dr. Elizabeth Pierre-Louis, secrétaire exécutive. Dr. Bertha May Walker, présidente antérieure immédiate. Dr. Artis Hanson, parlementaire. Monsieur Eric Toussaint, membre institutionnel d'Haïti. Loida Nieves, membre institutionnel de Porto Rico. Gwyneth George, membre institutionnel de Guyana. Elsie Jiménez, membre institutionnel de la République dominicaine. Monsieur Nicolas Graham, membre d'association. José Roberto Gómez, membre d'association, Monsieur Luis Joël Crespo, membre personnel, Dr. Laurie Taylor, membre personnel.
And that's the new Executive Council. Congratulations, everybody. And as Elizabeth mentioned, thank you very much to all the past members of the Executive Council. We're in debt with you, and our association is in debt with you with your great work. And now for the incoming president's remarks, I leave the floor with Dr. Ginette Lebron Ramos, President of ACURIL. Y ahora pues dejo con ustedes para sus palabras iniciales a la doctora Ginette Lebron Ramos, la nueva presidenta ACURIL.
Et maintenant, afin de présenter son premier message en tant que président d'ACURIL, le docteur Jeannette Lebron Ramos. Félicitations.
Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Let me share my screen quickly. So I'm going to present my message in Spanish, but in the screen, you can read it in English. My apologies for the French speaking because I don't have time to translate in Spanish, sorry. Okay. Buenas tardes, good afternoon, bonsoir. En primer lugar, quiero agradecer a Dios por permitirme dirigirme a ustedes en este momento. Recientemente celebramos los 50 años de ACURIL, pero también le dijimos adiós a una de sus fundadoras. Es por eso que el mensaje que leeré hoy es muy diferente al que redacté originalmente. Aunque me siento honrada y feliz de instalarme como la nueva presidenta de ACURIL, no puedo negar el profundo dolor que siento por la partida de quien fue mi guía, mi mentora, mi amiga y la persona que me introdujo en esta gran organización, la doctora Luisa Vigo Cepeda, que en paz descanse. Los 50 años de ACURIL han sido de enormes contribuciones a bibliotecas, archivos y museos en el Caribe. 50 años que han fortalecido nuestra profesión, creando lazos de colaboración entre los profesionales de la información en el Caribe, la cuenca caribeña y países del norte, centro y suramérica. 50 años promoviendo actividades que aportan positivamente a la creación profesional de la familia curileña. Mi introducción a ACURIL fue en el 2010 gracias a la doctora Vigo, quien fue mi mentora en mis andanzas como profesional de la información. Mi primera conferencia fue bajo la presidencia de la doctora Ardith Hanson en el 2011, donde tuve la oportunidad de presentar un taller en Florida. A partir de ese momento no me he separado de ACURIL. He continuado presentando talleres, ponencias y carteles año tras año. He sido miembro personal y de asociación en el Consejo Ejecutivo. He sido relatora, moderadora y orientadora de nuevos miembros en el idioma español. Presido la mesa redonda del área de contenido de referencia virtual y servicios electrónicos junto a mis colegas y amigos Kumari Ramtajal de Trinidad y Tobago y Mario Torres de Puerto Rico. Y formo parte del Comité Tecnológico de ACURIL. Presidí ACURIL Capítulo de Puerto Rico y tuve la oportunidad de coordinar el comité organizador de la conferencia de ACURIL 2017 Puerto Rico junto a la doctora Vigo. Una de mis mayores ganancias ha sido conocer tantos colegas profesionales y amigos del Caribe, con quien he tenido la oportunidad de intercambiar ideas y colaborar en actividades. Además, ACURIL ha sido una de mis fuentes principales para crecer en el campo de la información y es por eso que me siento muy comprometida con esta organización. Ahora me gustaría hablarle brevemente sobre los retos recientes que se han enfrentado en las bibliotecas y los profesionales y los profesionales de la información que hemos enfrentado. Durante los últimos años, nuestras islas del Caribe han enfrentado un embate de huracanes, terremotos y ahora una pandemia. Estos eventos representan grandes retos para todos como personas y también para nuestros entornos laborales y nuestras organizaciones. En algunos casos pudimos aplicar un plan de emergencia para salir a flote, pero en otros casos no fue tan fácil. Sin embargo, el deseo de salir adelante, así como la colaboración de gente comprometida, hace posible hasta lo que parece imposible. Es por eso que quiero aprovechar para felicitar a la doctora Berta M. Walker, pasada presidenta inmediata, y al comité organizador por su arduo trabajo para lograr la celebración de la conferencia de ACURIL 2020, primera conferencia virtual de esta organización y que además fue un éxito. Enmarcado en los retos que acabo de mencionar, aprovecho la oportunidad para presentar mi tema de conferencia para el año 2022. Gestión de cambio y resiliencia bibliotecaria. Estrategias efectivas para la reinvención de los servicios bibliotecarios en el Caribe. Este tema se presenta como una oportunidad para exponer, planificar y hacer recomendaciones sobre la forma de reinventar estrategias y modelos de servicios que se adapten positivamente a las diversas circunstancias y nuevas tendencias que se enfrentan en las bibliotecas. La conferencia tendrá sede en Curazao, país que aceptó con tanto entusiasmo y amabilidad ser los anfitriones de este gran evento desde el día 1. Expreso mi más sincero agradecimiento a mis colegas de Curazao, en especial a la Biblioteca Nacional y a la señora Nitza Jacobus por este gran apoyo. Trabajaré muy fuerte y estaré muy cerca de ustedes en el proceso de organización de la que sabemos será una conferencia exitosa. Este año 2020 estaremos realizando actividades virtuales encaminadas a la preparación de la conferencia del año 2022 en Curazao. Me despido dejándoles saber que a partir de hoy asumo con total compromiso mi responsabilidad como presidenta de esta gran organización y trabajaré arduamente con el fin de continuar adelantando esfuerzos para mantener la posición y el prestigio que nos caracteriza como Organización Bibliotecaria del Caribe. Muchas gracias. Antes de irme, me gustaría hacer un recordatorio y es que realmente recordarle a los miembros que deben revisar los documentos de constitución y reglamento de ACURIL y el documento de fondo de emergencia que le fueron compartidos a través de correo electrónico y para que lo puedan enviar ya sean recomendaciones o comentarios en o antes del 30 de abril del 2021. Eso es todo. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Madam President, for your kind words. And before we pass to the next item in the agenda, I want to make an apology. I forgot a member of the Executive Council, and it's Ms. Nitza Jacobus from Curaçao, actually, who is going to be the host next year for the ACURIL annual conference. Nitza Jacobus is an institutional member of the Executive Council as well, so I apologize to her and to you for not mentioning her name before. Quiero agradecer a la presidenta por sus palabras y por su mensaje. Y antes de continuar con el próximo punto de la agenda, quiero pedir disculpas por no haber mencionado el nombre de Nitza Jacobus de Curazao como miembro institucional del Consejo Ejecutivo de ACURIL. Nitza Jacobus va a ser nuestra anfitriona el año que viene en nuestra asamblea anual de ACURIL, así que mis disculpas y la presento oficialmente como también miembro institucional del Consejo Ejecutivo de ACURIL.
Merci beaucoup à Madame la Présidente pour ses mots et pour sa présentation bilingue. Mais avant de laisser la parole à Monsieur David Drysdale, vice-président, nous voulions nous excuser parce que nous avons omis un nom sur la liste des membres du conseil exécutif et c'est un nom très important, c'est Nitza Jacobus qui est de Curaçao et qui sera notre hôte pour la conférence 2022 à Curaçao. Mille excuses, Nitza.
Now for the next point in the agenda, we now closing our ceremony with the vote of thanks in charge of Mr. David Drysdale, Vice President, President-elect 2022-2023. Ahora, antes de finalizar, el voto de agradecimiento estará a cargo del señor David Drysdale, vicepresidente y presidente electo de ACURIL al año 2022-2023.
Gracias, Luis. ¿Vas a traducir?
French.
traduire en français, excusez-moi. Donc, avant de conclure cette assemblée, M. David Drisdale, vice-président et président élu 2022-2023, offrira le mot de remerciement. Merci, David.
Now, David.
Colleagues, very good afternoon to you. As far as I'm aware, in my almost maybe 20 years of association with ACURIL, I am sure this is the first virtual General Assembly. And so the easy part of it is what I've been given, and that is to say thank you. Can I go ahead or you translate as I go along?
No, you can go ahead with your comments.
Okay, fine. So firstly, I would like to thank Mr. Eric Cook, the platform provider for this meeting. Eric, we really appreciate your generosity in hosting us on this virtual platform. Would like to thank also past President Monique Alberts for her presentation, the past Treasurer Alma Luces Figueroa Ortiz for the hard work that she has done for the association over the years. And we're sorry that she is leaving us, having resigned, but we appreciate all that you have done over the years, Alma Luces. To Ardis Hansen, Chair of the Constitutional and Bylaws Committee, thanks as well. Gretchen Carrasquillo Ramos, and the Nominations Committee, the Scrutiny Committee, the Executive Council members, our President, new President, Janet Lebron Ramos. I hope I have the names right. So congratulations, and we look forward to working with you in the interest of all that ACURIL is doing. And finally, Madam Bertha May Walker, for all the hard work that you have done over the year plus, the great odds under which you work, given the pandemic and all of that. We thank you for that tremendous job that you have done. And also, Louis, you have done a tremendous job in stepping up to the plate when we unfortunately lost our executive secretary. You have done a wonderful job, and we thank you. We thank all of our attendees for participating in this virtual General Assembly, and we look forward, the pandemic when it is behind us, that we can see each other again in our conference or some other event such as this, where we can meet and greet each other face to face. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
Thank you, David, for that vote of thanks. And now for the official closing of the ceremony, the new Executive Secretary of ACURIL, Dr. Elizabeth Pierre-Louis.
Muchas gracias. Merci et thank you. I won't be long because it's been a very long afternoon. There was a lot of interesting debates, and it was a great meeting. I know I have I have a very big legacy to hold up to, and Dr. Luisa Vigo-Cepeda was a very strong personality within ACURIL, and I will do my best to respect her wishes, and also push us forward. I keep thinking about the title of my 2016 conference, which was Leadership, a Bridge Between Tradition and Innovation, and I hope that I can be that bridge. Muchas gracias. Lo siento, mi español no es tan bueno, pero creo que doctora Luisa Vigo estaba una grande personalidad y también tengo mucho trabajo, pero tiene confianza, porque creo que todas somos una familia y como ella le dice, la unidad dentro de la diversidad.
Donc, merci à tous. Je ne vais pas être très longue. On a eu un long après-midi. C'était très intéressant. Il y a eu des débats. Je sais que le docteur Luisa Vigo Cepeda me laisse une porte ouverte et nous allons travailler tous ensemble et dans l'unité, dans la diversité qui est le motto d'ACURIL et que Luisa aimait dire si souvent. Et And now I will ask Dr. Janet Lebon Ramos, the new ACURIL president, to ask the members to second and propose to close this assembly.
Yo secundo la propuesta de Elizabeth para cerrar la asamblea.
Señora Presidenta, usted debe pedir ahora una moción. Y entonces nosotros la secundamos.
Do you second it, Louis?
Yes, I do. I second the closure motion, yeah.
And then we can say that it's been proposed and seconded. Thank you to all.
Thanks
Thank
to
you,
all of
everybody.
you for attending. God bless. And Jeanette, I'm available to help you in whatever capacity I can. Thanks to
Thank
all
you.
of you. God bless you.
Thank you. Gracias a todos.
Thank you.
Gracias por participar.